Yo, is that working? I think so. Yeah, I'll say that's working. Yo, so how are we, guys? Now, I know you're thinking 2 in 2 days. Lucky you. Now, so I'm just doing a quick, obviously, Facebook Live. Just want to touch on a few topics. Now, it's actually really funny. It's a good job that I am really thick-skinned, really. So, this morning, I was going through my posts, so like my advertisements on Facebook, and I've got a video going out about how to get big arms, which obviously targeting guys, hitting guys. And I was just going through some of the hate comments on it, and some of the comments was, my sister has got bigger arms than you. You have got noodle arms. You are a shit guru. You can't give me advice. Your arms are like pencils. Literally blasted me. Now, it's a good job I'm thick-skinned. I could take that, but it led me on to a good point where these guys was obviously only ever going to take advice, in their mind, would go in that mindset, from Phil Heath, because they would only take advice on people with big arms from people with absolutely astronomical big arms. Now, my arms aren't small. I'm not saying they're massive, but they're not small. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of people nowadays think, let's say, for example, if you're in shape, okay, I mean, the amount of fucking guys that I know that know absolutely fuck all, they're an embarrassment, and what they will do is they will jump on a physique show. They might have been like, I don't know, let's say, for example, they're I don't know, whatever job, they might have been working in hospital, whatever. Then they've gone and done a physique show. Then, because they've got lean and they've just listened to the coach's advice and know nothing about nutrition, nothing about fitness, that they have then gone, right, well, now I'm going to give you my diet plan, or now I'm going to give you my training program, or now, because I've got myself lean, I can give you advice. And it doesn't work like that. They know absolutely nothing, and you're putting your health in their hands, and if they don't get you a result, then they don't know anything. All they know is what worked for them. They don't know what works for the Trevor, the 55-year-old gardener. They don't know what works for 42-year-old Sandra from the local cleaners. They don't know, because they only know what works for themselves. So just also be aware when you're doing that. So, I've just got a few topics I'm going to touch on today. Why am I getting lower back all the time? Why am I getting lower backache all the time? Now, the reason that you get lower backache all the time is because your glutes switched off. It's never because that you have to strengthen your lower back, because in all honesty, you do everything through your lower back. But what's usually the case is, let's say, for example, if you're doing any exercise that's going to hit your posterior chain, so the back of your body, then you're always going to use your lower back. You're never going to use your glutes or your hamstrings. Now, your glutes is your biggest muscle. We want to be able to activate that and use that. Now, let's say, for example, you're an office worker and you're sat down all the day. What that does, it really tightens up your hip flexor muscles. It switches off your glute muscles. And if you're doing this 9-10 hours a day, then you're going straight into deadlifting or straight into squatting. Well, obviously, your glute muscles can't contract, so the load is going to be placed through your lower back. So if you are getting lots of pains through your lower back, or it's usually telling me that you have got lower, if you got your glutes will be switched off. So the first port of call that I always do with all of my clients is I always obviously get them a static stretching routine that I get them do in the morning, which is going to loosen off their hamstrings, their quads, their glutes. Then I'll get them a lacrosse ball, because you can static stretch your glutes, but it's not really going to get deep enough. So getting a lacrosse ball to get deeper in the glutes. Then when you've done all this is when your band exercises and your isolation exercises can really work for your glutes to activate them. Then when you go into a squat or a deadlift, then you're going to perform so much better, because you are actually hitting your glutes. Now, if you are hitting your glutes, you're going to be so much stronger, you're going to lift so much more efficiently, you're going to lift so much more, and the load is going to be placed where we want it to go. And you're also going to get stronger a hell of a lot quicker. So if you are getting lower backache all the time, bear in mind, right, you're stressed, you're inflamed, you've been sat down 10 hours a day, and then you're expecting to go straight into a performance-based exercise. It isn't going to happen. You've got to add 10, 15, 20-minute mobility. I'd had a static stretching routine before, and then you're in a lot better place to do so. And also what you need to do is focus predominantly in that first program in obviously loosen off your hamstrings and glutes, but also strengthen your hamstrings and glutes. What I always find with the anterior pelvic tilt is that your hamstrings and glutes are extremely weak, so you really need to strengthen those up. So that's always my main focus in training. And the way that you can strengthen those up in your training is isolation-based exercises. So yes, single leg works, your single leg curls, your glute bridges, your hip bridges, your hip extensions. All these exercises are a lot better to use first. Then you can move through the phases and add RDLs, add stiff leg deadlifts, add rack pulls, add deadlifts. but they should never be your first port of call, because it's a lot more of a technique-based exercise, and you need to be able to work through the phases. So let's get our glutes loosened off, let's get our glutes strong, then go into the session, and you'll perform a hell of a lot better. So I hope that helps. Can you be lean all the time? Now, okay, so being lean all the time is... Okay, so when you see your fitness pros, well, I've done it myself. Obviously, when I did photo shoots, I got really lean, and I took loads of photos, and I did them great. Now, if I wanted to, I could just regurgitate those photos, but I don't really put much stuff out about myself, but I could regurgitate those photos all the time. What you don't see with a lot of fitness pros, they've actually got a lot of bad habits with eating. It's like really good, really the diet really hard, and then binge. And it's very difficult to stay lean. Now, if you're a fitness model, then you're probably going to stay lean all year round, because you're not really going to add much muscle. You're always going to stay around calorie maintenance or in a calorie deficit. But if you ever want to change your physique, and you ever want to grow muscle, and you want to enhance your physique, then you're probably going to have to sacrifice and actually add a bit of body fat. And I always say to my clients when they're adding muscle, look, I want to keep you as lean as I can. I want to keep our cells a lot more sensitive. I want to keep us healthy, and I want to be able to handle as much fuel and food and progress a lot quicker. So I'll always keep you lean, but you've also got to understand there's going to be, because we're in a calorie surplus, there's also going to be a chance that there is always going to be that we're going to put body fat on. So you just need to be aware of that, and I will pull you, if you're putting too much body fat on, we'll pull you back. If we're growing muscle at a good rate and not how much body fat on, I'll either leave you there or push you another leap ahead. It totally depends on how your kind of physique's going. But if you want to stay lean all the time, the way you're going to stay lean all the time is either keeping in just a slight calorie deficit or keeping around maintenance, either walking a lot, doing a lot of activity. If you're looking at keeping lean all the time and you want to be able to sustain it and enjoy life, I would always try and keep my calories as high as I can, but I'd increase my activity. So I'd make sure my exercise activity thermogenesis, so i.e. walking and stuff that you're doing that isn't based on exercise, you're doing that all the time. You're doing as much as you can, and you're probably doing a lot of HIIT training alongside your weight training, and playing a few sports. You're doing as much as you can to allow yourself to eat as much food as you can, but you'll still keep lean. So you kind of balance one another. Never go... okay, if you're training loads and you're not eating, you can see that the scales is too far off whack. If you're eating a lot but you're training a lot, the scales are balanced. So you're going to keep healthy, you're going to keep in a good position, your performance is going to be good, and you should keep lean as long as you track it all. And if you're putting body fat on, you pull it back. If you're not going and then you can just monitor it and track it like that. That's kind of the best way of doing things. Okay, so why am I okay, I've got two questions really. So steps a day for an office worker. Now obviously, like I've said it in this group so many times, that a lot of you guys in here are office workers or office based, and your steps compared to a builder or painter and decorator or whatever is always down quite a bit. So if you're a builder or painter or decorator, or your job's really active, you're going to be doing excess of 12,000 steps. You might be doing 12 to 20,000, and that's 12 to 20,000, and that is quite a lot of steps, and that's great. We're moving along. That will probably mean then that we will have to do less cardio. We might not have to do cardio at all, and we can keep your food a little bit higher. Okay. Now, let's say for example you're doing 2,000 steps a day or below as an office worker. You've got to understand there's two things that I would do. First of all, I would track it over the week and then address this, and I'll try and increase your step targets. If you're doing 2,000, let's try and do 4,000. That extra energy output will make a big difference. Then if we want to get lean, there's two things what you can do. Because if you just say to me, like, Danny, I've got no interest in moving more, not that this person's ever come up, but let's say if it did, and I don't want to move more, and I want to get lean, but I'm not going to do any more activity, then you've got to realise that your calories are going to have to get a lot lower, just because you're moving a lot less. So the more that you move, the more food that you can eat. So if you're an office worker, you're roughly doing between 2,000 to 5,000. A simple target, just increase by 1,000 or 2,000. Monitor it, keep your food the same, train hard, eat enough protein, eat enough veg, and you're going to be in a good place, and you should drop body fat and get a good result. Okay? Alright. Why am I binge eating? Okay, so this is this is a tough one, because it can be based on so many different things really. Now obviously let's look at it from a few different points. when people are binge eating, it's usually because they haven't got enough protein, they haven't got enough veg. So let's say, for example, you've got enough protein and veg, you've got enough macronutrients, you've got enough fats, you've got enough carbs, we've balanced your diet out. Very rarely you're going to binge. Now, if you haven't got enough fibre, you ain't got enough protein, that's when you're a lot more likely to binge because you're not as full, yeah, and your appetite and hunger hormones are going to go a little bit dysregulated, and they're going to go everywhere. Now, and also if you're a stressed individual, then you're, obviously because your blood sugar levels are going to fluctuate, you're also going to crave a lot more, and then you're going to binge eat at certain times of night. And you could also be, and then what I tend to find with people is that when they're dieting, they'll diet and they'll go super low calorie, and so they might go from eating 3,000 to 800 calories a day. They can sustain that for 1 or 2 weeks maximum, and then they go and binge eat late at night. And that's why what I try and do with all my clients is make sure we eat as much food as we can to get as good a result as we can, and I try and keep the fuel as high as I can at all the times, so then that won't make them binge eating as much. And also, you've got to make sure that you've got foods in there that you enjoy. So like all my clients in this group will know that I give you stuff like cereal or Skittles or Haribo or oats or loads of different things really. I'll give you foods that you're going to enjoy, so it's not going to feel like you're missing out or you're resenting the diet. You're actually going to kind of enjoy it, and that's why I kind of feel that there's so many of you getting amazing results at the minute, and because it's a diet that you can sustain and enjoy. We're not going, right, let's do 800 calories a day, let's pull everything away, go and do that, because it's too hard to stick to, and you will find it hard in the long run. And I always say to people, the diet you're doing now, okay, could you do that in a year's time? And 9 times out of 10, with my clients, will say, yeah, I could do that. I could stick to that if I had to. Now, if you went and did a stupid juice diet, or you did a low-calorie diet, 4 meals of white fish a day with just coconut oil, could you do that in a year's time? And the answer is no. So a good diet is one that you could stick to in a year's time. Always say this to like the Herbalife people, or the juice diet people, or fucking Cambridge diet, or whatever they're doing. Just say, look, could you do that in a year's time? And their honest answer will be no. So that's telling you that it's not necessarily a good diet. So making sure you've got enough calories is paramount. Making sure that you've got your stable blood sugar levels, so having good protein and fat. Making sure you're not missing out on foods that you enjoy. Making sure we've got enough veg. Making sure that you are drinking enough water. People usually mistake hunger for dehydration, so making sure you're drinking plenty of water. Are you bored? So let's say, for example, late at night, people are bored when they get in. The usual habit and the usual routine is sitting down and watching TV. So if you know that you're going to binge, so let's say, for example, 22 hours a day, you're bang on, perfect, we're doing really well. We'll work out that your 2 hours that you're struggling with is between 8 to 10 at night. Okay, cool. So then we've got to change it, right? We know that you binge, and we know that you're not doing well at that certain time of day. So let's change your environment. If you know you might go, right, today I'm going to watch TV 6 till 8. Then 8 till 10, I'm changing my routine. I'm going to go for a gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to walk. I'm going to play 5-a-side. I'm going to do this. Change your routine. Change where you're getting stuck. Because if you know when you sit downstairs late at night to watch those programs, that's your problem. We just need to change the environment. We need to change something. If you're doing this over and over again and expecting to change, like they say, the definition insanity is doing the same thing over and over again to get the same result. So what we need to do is change your environment and change your habits and actions to be able to get a different result. So if you are binging, there's things that I try. Change your environment if you are bored and you know your sticking point and your sticking times. Don't look for a quick fix solution. Base your diet on can you do it in a year's time. Great. All of you in this group will be able to, and you're doing that if you're with me anyway. So you're not going super low calories. You're drinking enough water. If you are stressed, we've got to work out why you're stressed, and we've got to put plans in place to manage your stress. Easier said than done, but once we address it and we're a lot more self-aware of it, then yeah, we can put stuff in place and we can manage your lifestyle. There's stuff we can do by managing your heart rate, looking at your heart rate variability, which I'm going to go put a video in later this week for you in this group to explain about that and how I'm going to apply it all with my clients moving forward. And if you are binge eating, like I said, these are the simple things that you can kind of do. And obviously manage your blood sugar levels, make sure you've got enough protein, veg, making sure you've got enough fats and carbs, and making sure you've got foods in there that you enjoy. And like now and again, having the odd beer, having the odd burger, great, that's perfect. That's a diet that we can sustain. Because every single one of you, if you stick into the food plan that I've given you, and you're having the odd social event, and there's no stress placed upon you, we're managing stress, we're managing health, I guarantee you in 3 months' time you'll have a transformation. 6 months' time you'll look better and feel better than ever. 12 months' time you'll look better and feel than ever. If I got that questionnaire back out from you from when you originally started, And let's say, for example, your score on the health questionnaire was 85, and then we got it down below 40. That's amazing. We've reduced every health marker on there by half, and that's what we're doing. Obviously, we want results, but we also want it to be healthier, we want it to be fitter, we want it to look better, we want it to have more confidence, more self-esteem, and fit in clothes that you want to do and do things you want to do. That's evidently what we're doing it for. We're not doing it for just to get a photo for me. I'm doing it for you to be able to get a result and for you to make and be healthier. So if you're binge eating, there's a few things that you can do, and if you're going wrong, let's not just go, right, hopefully this week will be better, or hopefully from Monday I'll get it back on track. Let's realise why you're going wrong. And if there's a few in this group that maybe, I'd say 95% of you this week have got amazing results. So if there's one or two of you in here that haven't got results this week, just say on the video below, or message me and say, look, Danny, this is why I think that's going wrong. Don't just wait till Monday and hopefully it'll change, because it won't. We've got to address this now, and then we can go and get results. So I hope this video helps, guys. I'm going to do another one this week. I'm kind of getting back into the routine of doing these lives. I've been working a lot on the video content, as you can see from there, from my little mate. So that's all. I'm just waiting for someone to edit it for me, and then that'll be all posted in this group. And then yeah, there's loads of stuff happening. So I'll keep you all, and hopefully the app as well. That'll be done at the end of the month. So there's loads of good new stuff happening. There's going to be a challenge launched in here Sunday. There's going to be an educational video in here Sunday. So there's lots of stuff going to come your way. So let's have a good week, guys. Obviously the weekend is coming up. Keep on top of it, and let's get amazing results. If you have got any questions, anything you want to know, anything you're struggling with, message me and let's get it sorted, because let's get some amazing results over this next week. So hope that video helps, guys. See you soon.